Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the greatest cosmic mysteries of all time. Imagine you're an astronomer, sitting in an observatory late one night, scanning the heavens. Suddenly, the equipment registers a signal so powerful, so unusual, that it defies all known natural explanations. You're so astonished, you just grab a red pen and write one word on the printout. Wow! This isn't a scene from a sci-fi movie. This actually happened. This is the story of the WOW signal. So let's rewind the clock. The year is 1977. The Bee Gees are topping the charts. Star Wars is hitting theaters. And at Ohio State University's Big Ear radio telescope, a project called SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, is in full swing. The Big Ear wasn't your typical dish-shaped telescope. It was a massive stationary instrument, the size of 3 football fields, using Earth's rotation to scan the sky. On the night of August 15th, an astronomer named Jerry Emin was doing his volunteer shift. His job wasn't to listen in real time, but to review the data printouts from the previous days. As he scanned the reams of computer paper, his eyes landed on a bizarre sequence of characters. 6EQUJ5. To you and me, that looks like gibberish. But to an astronomer working on SETI, it was electrifying. Let's break down what that code means. The telescope measured the intensity of radio signals, assigning numbers from 1 to 9 and then letters from A to Z to represent increasing strength. AU was over 30 times louder than the background noise of deep space. For 72 seconds, the Big Ear was hit with a powerful narrow-band signal that started weak, grew incredibly strong, and then faded away, exactly as you'd expect if the telescope was sweeping past a fixed point in space. That 6EQUJ5 sequence perfectly traced this bell curve intensity. Emin was so stunned by this perfect, textbook-like signal that he circled it and wrote his famous spontaneous annotation. Wow! So what made this signal so special? First, its frequency. It was detected at around 1420 megahertz. This is incredibly significant because it's the natural emission frequency of hydrogen, the most abundant element in the universe. This specific frequency is often called the water hole by astronomers. Why? Because hydrogen, H, and the hydroxyl radical, O, are the components of water, H2O. The theory is that any intelligent civilization wanting to broadcast their existence would choose this fundamental, universal frequency as a cosmic hailing channel. It's like agreeing to meet at a famous landmark in a giant, unfamiliar city. Second, it was a narrow-band signal. Natural cosmic sources, like pulsars or quasars, tend to broadcast radio noise across a wide range of frequencies, like static on an old radio. But the WOW signal was concentrated in a very, very narrow slice of the spectrum. This is a hallmark of an artificial transmission. Think about it. Our own radio and TV broadcasts are narrowband to avoid interfering with each other. A signal this precise is very hard to produce naturally. The signal seemed to come from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius, near a group of stars called Chi Sagittarii. This is a region rich with stars. But intriguingly, it's also toward the center of our Milky Way galaxy. If you were going to point a giant hello sign at the galaxy, that would be a pretty good direction to aim. Naturally, the discovery caused a massive stir. Astronomers, including Jerry Emin and the project director, John Krause, were ecstatic but also cautious. The first thing they did was try to find it again. They pointed the Big Ear, and later, more powerful telescopes, back at that exact spot in the sky. They scanned it for hours, for days, for months, and then for years. And they found ... nothing. Absolute silence. Absolute silence. And then for months, and then for years. And they found ... nothing. Absolute silence. The signal was a one-time event. It appeared for 72 seconds and then vanished, never to be heard from again. This is where the real mystery deepens. If it was an alien civilization, why transmit for only 72 seconds and then go silent? Were they just a beacon sweeping across the galaxy, and we were lucky enough to be in its path for a fleeting moment? Or did they turn it off? Over the decades, scientists have thrown every possible explanation at the wow. Signal. Could it have been a terrestrial source? Maybe a secret military satellite or a stray weather balloon? This was one of the first theories. However, the signal's frequency of 1420 megahertz is a protected part of the spectrum. It's internationally forbidden for terrestrial transmitters to use it, precisely to keep the channel clear for radio astronomy. While not impossible, a rogue transmission that powerful and perfectly mimicking a deep space source is highly unlikely. What about a natural, but previously unknown cosmic phenomenon? For years, this was the leading skeptical explanation. Perhaps it was a rare type of emission from a pulsar, or a gravitational lensing event that momentarily magnified a distant, weak signal. But none of the known natural phenomena perfectly fit the profile. They're either not narrow band, or they repeat, or they don't have the right intensity profile. A few years ago, a new theory emerged that gained a lot of media attention. An astronomer proposed that the signal could have been caused by the hydrogen cloud surrounding a passing comet. The idea was that two specific comets, which were not yet discovered in 1977, were in the right part of the sky at the time. This seemed plausible for a moment. However, the original Big Ear team and other experts quickly refuted this. Comets do release hydrogen, but they do it over a very broad area and at a very wide frequency range. They couldn't produce a signal as focused and narrowband as the WOW signal. Also, the comets weren't in the exact right spot. So the comet theory, while interesting, was largely debunked. So, where does that leave us? We're left with a 45-year-old mystery. We have a signal with all the major characteristics we'd expect from an intelligent extraterrestrial source. It was powerful, narrow band, at the waterhole frequency, and it came from deep space, and yet it never repeated. Jerry Emmon, the man who discovered it, remained a hopeful skeptic until his passing. He believed it was the best candidate for an extraterrestrial signal we'd ever received, but without a repeat detection, he couldn't be 100% certain. He spent a significant part of his life searching for it again, but it was to no avail. The legacy of the WOW signal is immense. It galvanized the SETI community and proved that the search wasn't just a fantasy. It showed that we have the technology to potentially detect such a sign of life, and it continues to inspire a new generation of astronomers and engineers to build bigger, better telescopes to listen to the cosmos. Maybe it was a glitch, a 1 in a trillion fluke of cosmic noise, an instrument error. Or maybe, just maybe for 72 fleeting seconds in the summer of '77, we overheard a whisper from across the stars, a brief hello from a civilization we may never hear from again. We still don't know, and that's what makes it one of the most compelling and enduring mysteries in all of science. The search continues. What do you think the WOW signal was? Let me know your theories down in the comments. I'd love to read them. If you enjoyed this journey into a cosmic mystery, please hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay curious.